Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. Today we're going to talk about how the new red flag law in Colorado is already being abused to try and take firearms away from a police officer. Now, all the information I'm going to be reporting on today comes from an article that I read over at bearingarms.com. I'll put a link to that article down below, and I definitely suggest that you read it because not only is it a very interesting article, but it also highlights some of the problems that could arise from all of these red flag laws that are popping up across the country. You know, each state has its own red flag law, and each state has its own rules for who can file and how they can file for a firearms restraining order or a firearms protective order or whatever they want to call it. California is very loose. An employer, an employee, just about anybody can file a firearms restraining order against you and have your Second Amendment rights stripped without due process, even up to 6 months after the last time they saw you. So it is very loose in California. Other states are more restrictive on who can file, like in the case that we're going to be talking about today, which took place in Colorado. In Colorado, only law enforcement or family can file for a firearms protective order or a red flag law. So what happened in this particular case was back in 2017, this woman who filed for the restraining order, the protective law, her son was killed by a police officer. It was determined to be suicide by cops, so he kind of forced the police officer into his actions. Well, the new red flag law took place in Colorado, and she decided to file against that police officer who was forced to kill her son back in 2017. Now, the interesting thing about this is they're not related. They are not family. So what did she do? She lied on the application, said that she had had a baby with that police officer, and that was the connection that she used in order to file for this red flag. Now, bearingarms.com is reporting that because this is such a new law in Colorado, that there haven't been too many red flags filed. And so when they are filed, it kind of comes to the attention of the media. The media decided to do a little bit of digging on this application and found out that, in fact, there is no baby between the woman and the officer that she's trying to have stripped of his Second Amendment rights. So there is no baby between the two, meaning that they are not family and that that application should be null and void because she lied on it. However, it's really up to the judge still. She was still able to file. The application went through. That means that it still has to go before a judge, and if the judge hasn't seen these media reports and nobody tells the judge that there is a lie on the application, that he could still grant this red flag against this cop and he could be stripped of his Second Amendment rights. Now, another thing about this, in Colorado, unfortunately, there is no repercussion for people who lie on these applications, which means it's basically open season because if you lie on an application, you're found to lie on an application, nothing can happen to you. There is no civil recourse, there is no legal recourse that somebody could take in order to go after somebody who fraudulently claims that they are in need of some type of protective order. So this woman lied on the application goes through, and if the judge finds out that she lied and it gets thrown out, the only thing that he can do is maybe get her with contempt of court. And that's it. There's no other repercussion for her at all. So she basically walks away scot-free and was able to harass this cop using the red flag law. So again, you know, with common sense, we can all see that these red flag laws are not only going to be abused, but they have been abused and they are being abused at the moment. And this article reveals that. So again, when you see a new red flag law pop up in a state, like in the state of Nevada where I'm at now, you know that it's very easy for somebody out there to simply go and fill out an application, get a time in front of a judge and say, hey, I believe this and that because of reason A, B, and C. And the judge can simply grant that order and bam, your Second Amendment rights are gone. And now you have to fight to get your rights back after the fact. So after law enforcement shows up at your door and strips you of all your firearms and so forth, now you have to fight back and try and prove that, you know, you are not who they said you are. It's basically, you know, they're going after your character, and then you have to go and fight and say that, no, you know, I'm not this type of person. So you have to defend your character in court after the fact. Obviously, you're going to have to hire a lawyer. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. You're going to have to go to court. Then you're going to have to get all these things back. It is a massive hassle. And if you don't think that somebody is going to file for one of these red flag laws just simply out of spite, then you're crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen the news, these people running around chanting and protesting and holding up signs and screaming at the top of their lungs because they're upset about something. Those are the type of people right there who could care less whether or not they lie or not. They're just going to do whatever they can to remove you of your Second Amendment rights. And so these red flag laws, they're going to be abused, they are being abused, and they will be abused as long as they are on the books. So again, this is definitely one to watch out for. I suggest you click the link down below and you read it yourself, and then also check back and see if there's any updates on this in the future, which I will obviously report on as well. But a really sad case coming out of Colorado for this law enforcement officer who is being harassed by this woman. It's just absolutely terrible. So anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.